ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಶುಭೋದಯ. ಮೈಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಎಂ.ಇ. ತುಬ್ಜಿ, HOD, ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್, SJPN Trust, Polytechnic, Nidsoshi. Second semester, Electronics and Communication Engineering, the course Basics of Semiconductor Devices. In the total 6 units are there. Unit first, Introduction to Semiconductor Devices. In that we are discussing about the DT questions along with the answers. The first question is, explain Niels Bohr atomic theory. The figure shows the structure of atomic. An atom consists of positively charged nucleus around which negatively charged electrons revolve in different circular orbits. The electrons can revolve around the nucleus only in certain permitted orbits, that is, orbits of certain radii are allowed. The electrons in which permitted orbit have a certain fixed amount of energy. The large orbit, the greater is the energy of electrons. If an electron is given additional energy, it is lifted to the higher orbit. The atom is said to be in a state of excitation. This state does not last long because the electron soon falls back to the original lower orbit. As it falls, it gives back acquired energy in the form of heat, light, or other radiations. The second question, explain energy bands in solids. There are a number of energy bands in solids. The following are of more important: valency band, conduction band, and forbidden energy gap. Now we are discussing about the valency band. The electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom are called valency electrons. The energy band occupied by valency electron is called valency band. This band may be completely or partially filled but never be empty. Conduction band. The electrons which are escaped from valence band are called conduction electrons. The energy band occupied by this conduction electrons is called conduction band. Conduction electrons may be easily moved within the material by the application of small amount of energy. It may be empty or partially filled with electrons. Forbidden energy gap. The separation between conduction band and valency band on the energy level diagram is known as forbidden energy gap. Third question, explain with diagram of insulators, conductors, and semiconductors. The figure shows the energy band diagram of insulators. Insulators are those substances which do not allow the passage of electric current through them. In terms of energy band, the valency band is full while conduction band is empty. Further, the energy gap between valency and conduction bands is very large, that is 15 eV. The insulators have negative temperature coefficient of resistance, that is, when the temperature is raised, the resistivity of insulator decreases. Examples are wood, glass, rubber, plastic, paper, etc. Now we are discussing about the energy band diagram of conductors. Conductors are those substances which allow the passage of electric current through them. There are a large number of free electrons available in a conductor. In terms of energy band, the valency and conduction bands overlap each other as shown in figure. Examples: copper, aluminum, etc. Now we are discussing about the energy band diagram of semiconductors. Semiconductors are those substances whose electrical conductivity lies in between conductors and insulators. In terms of energy band, the valency band is almost filled and conduction band is almost empty. Further, the energy gap between valency and conduction bands is very small as shown in figure. At low temperature, semiconductors behaves like insulators. The electrical conductivity of a semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. That is, a semiconductor has negative temperature coefficient of resistance. Examples: silicon, germanium, selenium, carbon, etc. Next question. Explain the types of semiconductors. There are two types of semiconductors. First one is intrinsic semiconductor. It is also called as pure semiconductor. The second one is extrinsic semiconductor. It is also called as impure semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor. A semiconductor is extremely pure form is called intrinsic semiconductor. Silicon and germanium are the most important intrinsic semiconductors. In any semiconductor, the valency electrons in the outermost orbit are important because they can take part in electrical conduction. Both silicon and germanium have 4 valency electrons. All atoms in a crystal are similarly bonded together. Now we are discussing extrinsic semiconductor. A small amount of impurity is added to a semiconductor. Then it is called extrinsic semiconductor. The process of adding impurities to a semiconductor is known as doping. The process of adding impurity is to increase either the number of free electrons or holes in the semiconductor crystal. Generally, two types of impurities are added, namely trivalent impurity and pentavalent impurity. Depending upon the type of impurity added, extrinsic semiconductor are classified into p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. Next question. Explain n-type semiconductor. When a small amount of pentavalent impurity is added to a pure semiconductor, it is known as n-type semiconductor. Figure shows the formation of n-type semiconductor and energy band diagram. The pure silicon is doped into a group of 5 elements such as phosphorus, antimony or arsenic. These materials have atoms with 5 valency electrons, that is pentavalent atoms. 4 of these electrons will form covalent bonds with neighboring silicon atoms. The fifth electron has no electron to bond with and is therefore a free electron within the material. Each impurity atom will contribute a free electron to the conduction band. These free electrons will drift to produce an electrical current if a voltage is applied to the material. The n-type semiconductor is much more conductive than the pure silicon due to free electrons created by the doping process. Define PN junction. A PN junction is known as a semiconductor diode or crystal diode. It is a two-terminal device. The terminals are anode and cathode. The P and N type regions are referred to as anode and cathode respectively. Explain biasing modes of diode. The basic definition of biasing diode. The process of applying voltage to the PN junction either in forward or in reverse direction is called biasing. A PN junction is connected to an external voltage source, that is battery, is called biased PN junction. There are two bias conditions. The first one is forward biasing, second one is reverse biasing. Now we are discussing forward biasing. Forward biasing. Figure shows the diagram of forward biased connection. It is a type of bias in which positive terminal of battery is connected to p-type and the negative terminal is connected to n-type semiconductor. The diode is said to be forward biased as shown in figure. When p-n junction is forward biased, the electrons in the n-type semiconductor are repelled by the negative terminal of the battery and are moved towards the junction. Similarly, holes in the p-type semiconductor are repelled by the positive terminal of the battery and are also moved towards the junction. The width of depletion region is reduced, that is, junction resistance decreases and the current flows through the PN junction. Now we are discussing about the reverse biasing. Figure shows the reverse biased connection. It is a type of bias in which positive terminal of the battery is connected to n-type and the negative terminal is connected to p-type semiconductor. The diode is said to be reverse biased as shown in figure. In the reverse bias condition, the holes are attracted by the negative terminal of the battery and electrons are attracted by the positive terminal of the battery. Therefore, the electrons and holes move away from the junction. The depletion layer widens and prevents the flow of electrons and holes across the junction. This depletion layer width increases with increase in reverse bias across the PN junction. Thus, no current flows through the junction. Next question. Draw the VI characteristics of PN junction diode. The figure shows the VI characteristics of PN junction. VI characteristics of a PN junction is the curve between voltage across the junction and circuit current. Usually, the voltage is taken along x-axis and current along y-axis. The VI characteristics current shows the behavior of diode under forward and reverse bias. Next question. Explain forward bias characteristics of diode. The figure shows diode circuit and forward characteristics. If the positive terminal of battery is connected to the anode of the diode and the negative terminal of the cathode as shown in figure, it is called forward bias. The applied voltage from battery is increased in steps of 0.01 volt using potentiometer. Each time, corresponding current in the circuit is recorded. The current in the circuit is very small for the first few tenths of a volt. This is because the diode does not conduct until the applied voltage exceeds the barrier voltage. The forward current rises sharply when the applied voltage is increased above barrier voltage, a voltage at which the current increases rapidly. The curve is linear. Next question. Explain reverse bias characteristics of diode. The figure shows diode circuit and reverse characteristics. In the reverse bias, positive terminal of a battery is connected to cathode and negative terminal of anode of a diode as shown in figure. In the reverse bias, microammeter is used to measure very small current. The applied voltage is gradually increased from gradually increased for 0 in steps of few volts. At each step, reverse current is recorded. The current in the circuit is very small, only of order of few microamperes, and is due to minority charge carriers. It remains small and almost constant for all voltages less than breakdown voltage. At this point, the value of current is known as reverse saturation current. When the applied voltage is increased, further the reverse current also increases rapidly as shown in VI characteristics curve. The next question, explain with diagram of ideal diode. The figure shows the VI characteristics and equivalent circuit. An ideal diode acts like a perfect conductor when forward biased and like a perfect insulator when reverse biased. The characteristic of an ideal diode is shown in figure. In the forward biased condition, an ideal diode acts as a closed switch. The resistance is 0 and its cut in voltage is also 0. So ideal diode starts conducting instantly when forward voltage is applied to it. In the reverse biased condition, an ideal diode acts as an open switch. The resistance is infinite, hence the diode current is 0. An ideal diode cannot conduct in reverse biased. Next question. Explain with diagram of diode as a rectifier. The figure shows the rectifier circuit. The circuit is used to convert AC voltage into DC voltage is called a rectifier. Diode is used as the main component in rectifiers. A half-wave rectifier as shown in figure. During the positive half cycle of AC input voltage, the diode is forward biased. Therefore, current flows through the diode and load resistance RL giving positive half cycles at the output. During the negative half cycle of the AC input voltage, the diode is reverse biased and no voltage appears at the output terminals. Therefore, only positive half cycles appears at the output while negative half cycles are suppressed. This conversion is called rectifier. Next question. Explain with the diagram of diode as a switch. Figure shows forward bias and reverse bias. When the positive terminal of input voltage is connected to anode and negative terminal of input voltage is connected to cathode of diode. In the forward bias, current passes through the junction diode. That is, it acts like a closed switch. When the positive terminal of input voltage is connected to cathode and negative terminal of input voltage is connected to anode of diode. In the reverse bias, there is no current. That is, it acts like an open switch. Next question. Explain the principle of Zener diode. The figure shows the symbol of Zener diode. A heavily doped crystal diode which has a sharp breakdown voltage is called Zener diode. The principles of Zener diode. When forward biased, its characteristics are same as that of ordinary diode. A Zener diode is always reverse connected, that is, it is always reverse biased. A Zener diode has sharp breakdown voltage called Zener voltage VZ. The next question, explain VI characteristics of Zener diode. The figure shows the circuit diagram and characteristics. In the forward condition, Zener diode behaves like an ordinary diode. Initially, a very small current flows in the circuit. After reaching knee voltage, a very small change in forward voltage causes a very large change in forward current as shown in figure. In the reverse bias, a very small reverse current flows until it reaches breakdown voltage. Upon reaching the breakdown voltage, suddenly large current begins to flow through the Zener diode as shown in figure. The property of Zener diode is as the current increases, its resistance decreases, keeping almost a constant voltage. Because of this property, the Zener diode is used as voltage regulator. Next question. Explain Zener diode as a voltage regulator. A Zener diode is called as voltage regulator diode because it maintains a constant output voltage even though current through it changes. A voltage regulator circuit using Zener diode as shown in figure. When the input voltage Vin is more than Vz, the Zener diode conducts. As input voltage further increases, the input current is also increases, thereby increasing Zener current, that is current through Zener diode, without affecting load current IL. With increased input current IS, voltage drop across series resistance RS also increases, keeping output constant. On the other hand, if the input voltage decreases, input current also decreases, thereby decreasing IZ without affecting load current IL. With decreased input current, voltage drop across series resistance RS also decreases, keeping output voltage constant. Hence, Zener diode act as a voltage regulator. Thank you.